Hi there, Jen again. Okay, I'm gonna do another short video. This is the same night that I just recorded another video, but I'm trying to do shorter videos. I think that it'll make it easier for me to do more videos if I just try not to be such a perfectionist and try not to make them like super nice and perfect. So just short, brief videos. This one is about another controversial topic, which is trans women in women's sports. Okay, so I know that a lot of people out there have really passionate, really strong opinions about this in both ways, both directions. Okay, um, and I'll get to mine, but first I want to say that in order to be able to even say that phrase, trans women in women's sports, requires an acknowledgement that trans women are different from biological women, women that were born women. Okay. And I don't want to wade into this whole gender assigned at birth issue. Okay. I know that a lot of people are really passionate about that, about gender assigned at birth. Okay. Right. I don't know. People might, I don't know, accuse me of being what's the word, gender realist or something like that. God, I don't think so. But I do think life for mammals, humans, is pretty simple. Okay, there is variation. All right, but we, by and large, have two sexes. Two sexes. Okay, male and female. All right, and it is about the gametes. It's about making babies. Okay, and it's that simple. Okay, yes, there is variation. Of course, there's variation. That is what natural selection acts upon, is the variation in populations. How extensive is that variation? By all accounts that I'm aware of, very limited. Very limited variation on the theme of male and female. Okay, and that's okay. You know, you don't. We don't need to do this, splitting the two sexes up into a myriad of a continuum of some kind. We don't have to do that. All right. That, in my opinion, that is people angling toward this born this way argument for being trans. And in my perspective, if you saw my other video, I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter one bit if you're born this way. It doesn't matter one bit if you're made this way. It just doesn't matter. And so all of the other arguments that are used to prop up the born this way or the made this way themselves don't matter either. Okay? We don't need there to be a myriad or continuum of sexes in order to justify our existence. We don't need to. We don't need that. Are you happier identifying as the opposite sex or presenting as the opposite sex? Are you happier? Is your life more expansive or is it more limited? Do you feel more potential or less potential for your life if you transition? That's what matters. Okay? So all of this, multiple different sexes, or you don't know for real or for sure what my gender is, it's just, what the doctor assigned at birth. All of that doesn't matter. Okay? What matters is how you feel and what works for you. That's what matters. And so we don't need to justify it by looking really closely at variation, which is natural, and trying to expand that into a more meaningful argument about what represents a sex. okay, or what sex a person is. So it doesn't matter. Um, uh, um, Lost my train of thought there. Okay. All right, hold on, I got it back. Okay, so trans women and women's sports. Okay, trans women and women's sports. So, no, just no. Okay, all right. The world we live in, okay, we understand our biology. There's enough knowledge now about the biology of men and women to know, okay, that there is no clean way to compare a trans woman to women to determine that this trans woman should or should not be playing in a sport that involves all women. All right, we don't know how to do that, and I don't think we can know, and I don't think it matters. Okay, I think that women's sports are for biological women. That's what they're for. Okay, they're not for people who identify as women or for people who are live a better and more fulfilling life presenting as a woman. That's not what women's sports is for. Women's sports is for biological women. That's what it was made for, and that is the audience and the clientele that supports that. Well, in terms of the audience, I mean, there are men that support it, but in terms of the people participating, they're biological women, and they should be. That is what women's sports is for. Okay. I think that my second point in this is that being trans and presenting as the opposite sex and wanting to be accepted requires sacrifice. It does. It requires sacrifice all over the place in all aspects of a person's life. Okay? There are things that you sacrifice. Okay? You may sacrifice people that you love. Okay? You may sacrifice certain privileges that you had as a presenting as a male man. Okay. Right. And you're asking the world to meet you in the middle and accept you as you are. Okay. And so, in order for them to do that, you have to meet them in the middle as well. So there's a give. You've got to give something. Okay. One of those sacrifices and a way to meet in the middle with the rest of the world, okay, is to avoid doing things that infringe upon them or make their lives unfairly compromised in some way. Okay. And that includes playing in women's sports. In my perspective, hands down, you don't play in women's sports. Okay. That is a sacrifice that we make. If you want to be trans, you want to be accepted, you want the world to accept you, there are sacrifices. One of those is playing in sports. Okay. Playing in women's sports for sure. But I mean, you can play in men's sports, but you probably don't want to if you're trans. Okay, because not because a competition issue, but because you don't want to be associated and grouped together with men. I mean, that's what being trans is you are jumping ship. You're going to the other side. So you don't want to then spend a ton of time being associated with and seen as a man that's kind of defeats the purpose of transitioning. So of course you don't want to play on the men's team, not to mention possibility of harassment by certain people who would judge you or look down on you and not understand you. So of course you don't want to play in men's sports, right? And not for competition's sake, but for all those other reasons. But that doesn't mean that you can play in women's sports, right? You can't. And on a personal, from a personal perspective, okay, I'm not really that tall, okay. I am my age is I have advanced years, not that advanced, but and I work out pretty well, okay, and a lot, and I would never put myself up one on one, okay, against a woman my age and height. All right, I don't care how much she worked out. I don't care how tough she was. Okay, I don't think it's. I mean, I guess if she was like super tough, I would, yeah, sure, take her on so she could beat me up, and maybe that would be fun. Okay, that's fine. But I wouldn't take on somebody with the intent of trying to beat them. A woman my age, my height and size. Okay, that's ridiculous. All right, knowing what I can do, even after being on hormones for almost 4 years, and the muscle mass that I've lost, the strength that I've lost, I still know what I can do. I can do some stuff. I have a lot of strength. I'm fast, and I have a lot of experience in with physical agility and things. And so I know that if I were to take on somebody my age, my height, my weight, but the opposite sex, I wouldn't feel it was fair. I wouldn't feel it was a fair competition. Okay? I mean, I'll play them in pool cards, but not in a physical sport. Okay? And so I believe it because I live it. I live like an active life, and I don't think it would be fair for me to compete against women even my age. I don't. Okay, and I don't even work out that much. I'm not like a really good athlete. And some of the people, trans women that are competing in women's sports, are like really good athletes. Like they're like legit athletes. I'm not that, but they are, and so they're like exponentially more skilled than I am going against women. And yes, the women are also more skilled, but I think you get what I'm saying. I think there was another point in there that I wanted to make, but I think I forgot. So no, I don't think. Uh, oh yes, and I know the number of male to female trans athletes like in college is like less than 10. I know that. I saw the Congress hearing where the head of the NCAA, I don't know exactly who he uh, was testifying, and he gave those numbers. He said probably less than 10 across the entire NCAA. Um, and so it is a minuscule problem, a very small problem, right? And across the country in middle school or high school, the numbers are probably like ridiculously low, you know, and um, and so it's not even a real problem. But for the people that are there, for the girls that are there, and for the young women that are there, it's a problem for them, and um, and that's what I think matters, even if it's not a problem for statistically for most of the country. It's a problem for the people that are on that field or in that court who want to compete against women. And by women, I mean biological women, because that's what women's sports is for. Okay. All right. I love you, and no judgment. Okay. If you're a trans female athlete, I don't judge you, and I don't want you to feel bad. I do think that you should reconsider and think about why you're doing it, and do you want to compete, period, okay, or do you want to compete against women? I don't understand, but you should stop. You should stop, okay? Stop playing in women's sports. Okay, stop trying to. Just let them have their sport, okay? Be in a co-ed group. Be in a co-ed team. Support the growth of more co-ed sports. I think that would be fantastic. I would love to play on a co-ed sports team, like a co-ed basketball thing or something like that. I would love that, because then you can like bump up against guys and girls at the same time and maybe meet somebody. So yeah, go for co-ed sports. Don't go for sex sports. All right. And yeah, so that's it for that. I know that is disappointing to some people. There's a lot of people that really believe in the let the kids play situation, okay? And I have sympathy for that. I empathize with those youngsters, okay? But I'll make another video about youth transition, okay, which is a whole separate ball of worms, bag of worms. What's the expression? Box of worms, jar of worms, cat out of the bag. I don't know. Cat, early bird gets the worm. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be posting more again soon. All right. Have a good night. Bye.